It's my pleasure to introduce Chief Justice Christensen. I've known Justice Christensen for a really long time, before she even became appointed to the bench. She got her bachelor's degree from Judson College in, well, I won't say the year, and her law degree from Creighton. Prior to her appointment to the Supreme Court, Chief Justice was appointed to the District Court in 2007, and she became the highest level of a district court judge in 2015. And before becoming a judge, she practiced law in Harlan for 16 years. She has chaired many committees, has been a member of many committees. She is our current chair of our Children's Justice State Council, which is policy people, heads from across the child welfare system. She chaired the Family First Task Force. She served on the Supreme Court's Family Law Pro Se Forms Committee, Child Support Guidelines Review Committee, parents organizations such as the representation standards for legal representation, Guardianship and Conservator Task Force, as well as the Children's Mental Health and Wellbeing Advisory Committee. She's a member of every level of the Bar Association. But most importantly, she's been a champion for access to justice, family engagement, and ensuring that our courts are equipped to respond to the behavioral health challenges facing Iowans. She's been a champion and someone who supported our efforts to bring a statewide behavioral health manager on board, and is very supportive of the work that we're doing in Iowa right now. So please help me welcome the Chief Justice. Thanks, Kathy.
Can you hear me? All right. Thank you for the invitation to be here. This is a huge room. This is my second talk today, and the other talk had very few people, but there were lots of people listening, though, by Zoom. And so it's always nice to be together in person. Zoom has a place and a purpose, but in person there's nothing better. It's my understanding, I was asking Kathy to tell me who all is in the room. I always like to know who am I talking to, what groups of people. If you are with the judicial branch in any aspect, would you raise your hand? Very few of you. We're in the minority here. Okay. If you are in the executive branch, would you please raise your hand? If anybody's a legislator, raise your hand. Oh, we have some legislators. How about private practicing attorneys? I don't see any. All right. How about people who deal with substance abuse issues? I knew one girl would raise her hand. A lot of you. Okay. Mental health? How about who works with both substance abuse and mental health? That's what I figured, a lot of the same people. Law enforcement. Oh, you guys always sit together back there? What are you going to do if somebody comes up here right now? You're pretty far away. All right, thank you. I do have security over here in the corner. I've got Jeff and Niles with me today, which I appreciate very much. But who's here as a parent, perhaps, maybe, of a loved one, or just someone? There we go. We got some close family supports. Trying to think of what other categories have I forgotten. And the reason I'm doing this is I like to know who my audience is for my comments. I'm used to talking to different groups of people for different reasons, and one of the most popular reasons I'm asked to talk is anything juvenile. I'm all about juvenile. I love anything we can do to make the life of a child in Iowa better, and there's a lot of scary, sad, despicable things going on that the general public doesn't know about, but unless you work in the arenas that many of us do, we are very aware of it. And I have often believed if we can truly get a better grip on what's going on with our youth, that is obviously going to help down the road with everything else. Well, this is an example of the everything else. Was anybody on a I don't think it was a task force, I think it was some sort of a commission. I was the only judicial branch representative. I had to step down in 2018 when I got on the Supreme Court, but it was for mental health. And there were lots of people on it who were involved in executive and legislative. Were any of you on that committee with me? No? That's the last opportunity I had to work in the adult world of mental health issues. And the reason I say that is I remember I always felt like a fish out of water in that committee, because they, rightfully so, wanted to roll up their sleeves and figure out how can we get on top of this mental health crisis at an earlier stage. And so me sitting around the table as a judge, I'm thinking, I can't do squat until it becomes a crisis. I have no jurisdiction. I have no dog in the fight until it's on fire on a Friday afternoon at 4:30. That's when I get involved. And so it was frustrating for me because while I appreciated those efforts and the understanding that that's what we need to do, we need to work at the levels where before it becomes a crisis, I appreciated being a part of the conversation because I wanted them to continue to hear this is a huge problem. It is a big part of our judicial system. I'm making these numbers up, so you can't quote me. But I would venture to say that people in prison, 95%, if not more, had an issue growing up as a child where they either were or should have been a part of either our child welfare or juvenile delinquency system. A lot of stuff carries on through life. I would venture to say, I'm going to say 75%, I'm making these numbers up, of people in prison have mental health issues that have been unaddressed or substance abuse issues. I think substance abuse may be even higher. The reason I'm saying this to you is this is such an important part of the cases that come before us as a branch, and I appreciate very much so the work that's being done by obviously non-judicial people. There's a few judicial people in here, but not a lot. And it's going to have to start with you guys. It has to. Like I said, we can't just say, oh, I heard there's this kid who's really suffering at a certain school. I'm going to enter an order on his or her behalf and make those parents get the care that he needs, or make that facility provide the services on a sliding fee scale. I can't do that. I can't do that. You have to have a case legitimately filed with the court system before you get the action of a judge. And so we can't do anything until it becomes a crisis. But we are gravely affected by what you guys can do to help less crises out there. All of you are remarkable in the work that you do. When I was looking out here, and Kath, you said way too much. Anybody can just Google me. You don't need to read that crap. Just say, here's the chief. Come on up and talk. But while I was standing there, listening to her yammer on, and by the way, I graduated from college in 88, law school in 91, but I am older for my class. I am 63 years old. That's what the math is. I don't care how old I am. I'm 63. Do the math yourself. But the important stuff is my entire career as a lawyer, as a family law lawyer and a prosecutor, and I did all the juvenile work in my county. And then I was a juvenile judge for 8 years, district court judge for 3, and now in the Supreme Court. Now, while the Supreme Court doesn't have a lot to do with juvenile cases going out there or mental health cases that are pending right now, we only do way after the fact. After it's gone through the system, somebody doesn't like what happened at the district court level and they appeal it, that's when we touch it. So I feel very far removed from it. But when I was standing here listening to Kathy yammer on, I looked out there and I saw Erin. Erin, raise your hand. Erin and I go way back. Erin is one of those people that was in my courtroom all the time. She was on my family treatment court. And to this day, I won't reveal any names, but she will confirm that to this day, on at least 3 separate occasions, I have reached out to her because I have a friend or a loved one. I don't know what to do. And if Susie Christensen, Chief of the Iowa Supreme Court, who has all that history in mental health, substance abuse, mental health abuse, all that stuff, if she doesn't know what to do, how does a person in the state of Iowa without knowledge of the resources know what to do? I happen to know someone named Erin, and I texted Erin, Erin, can you help me out here? If I have a friend in such and such a community, where's the first step? What do they do? So thank you for all the Erins out there. Hopefully there are people like me that know other people to reach out to. So I applaud the work that you're doing. It needs to be done. We need to somehow address the crisis and have it be simpler than it is. You shouldn't have the luxury of just knowing the right person to text. That's not fair. It's not fair to everyone else. So some of the work that's already been done, I do want to celebrate. I know that there are some local groups that have been trying to reduce jail days and connecting people so they have positive outcomes. That is all noticeable, but like I said, the work you guys do, how do you prove that to me? You can't prove the cases that would have gotten filed. I'll never know exactly. I don't think we can do data as far as the cases that weren't filed because you guys, of the work you did, created an environment for people to be successful. But I have faith that once I see the product that comes out of this group and I hear conversations, I know that that's going to help people. I also want to thank the different people that are here today or will be coming, my colleagues at the Department of Health and Human Services, the judicial district representatives, all the speakers who will be here. I looked at the agenda. I wish I could stay for the whole day, but I'm not able to. But I do want to let you know that sometimes when the individuals are struggling, whether they be your client, your patient, your neighbor, a family member, or perhaps yourself. Knowing that we have a cadre of people like this in our state committed to making it better gives me hope. So thank you for the work you've done. I have nothing else unless anyone has questions. I don't always open it up to questions, but there's so many of you. If there are any questions, I probably can't answer them. So, thank you.